Hello, everyone. I'm Sam Eckmann of Gold Derby here with Amber Iman, Tony nominee for Lempicka. And Amber, I saw your reaction video to your Tony nomination, so I know what you did, but what goes through your mind when you're in that moment and you hear your name called for the first time?
Feel like your soul leaves your body because I forgot that they call the names in alphabetical order, so I should have known if I'm not second. Forget. But I think it's shock, disbelief, excitement. You want to throw up and happiness. It really is just like there's an overwhelming sense of joy. It really was a wonderful moment once you get past the shock of it all. But yeah, it's like goosebumps
Hmm.
and happiness.
Well, you are nominated for playing Rafaela in this musical, and we know we have images of Rafaela, the historical person in Tamara's paintings, but how much information was actually out there for you to gather
Um,
about her? Like, what did you draw on to play her?
there's literally two pieces of information. We know she was a sex worker, and we know that she met Tamara, and Tamara painted her 7 times in 1 year. That's it, nothing else. So Carson did an incredible job of crafting a woman with so many dimensions and colors with so little information. So there really was nothing to research because she really is Carson's creation and just a lot of conversations between she and I about who this woman is and how we believe she may have moved through the world based on the paintings. And we do know that Tamara said when she saw Rafaela, she was behind her, and everyone who passed, as Rafaela passed people, they all turned around to look at her, and it made her wonder, I need to know what that woman looks like because everyone is stopping and turning to look at her. So naturally, we know she's as beautiful as me, period. But that's all the information we had. So a lot of just using my own imagination, um, tapping into what Carson created, what was on the page, and then kind of just the costumes informed it. You know, my coat is a mix of Prince and Jimi Hendrix. So there's a freedom there, you know, thinking Lisa Bonet, thinking just free women that I know, how they move through the world, how they approach things. That kind of was it.
Well, you get such a great first moment in this show with Don't Bet Your Heart because I feel like that song Rafaela steps in and kind of like shakes up the energy of the show so much when she enters. What is the key to making that kind of high energy entrance?
I mean, you have to have my beauty, grace, elegance, and pizzazz. The way they talked about it in the room, Rachel and Raja, it's as if we're doing Lempicka and then insert a new musical called Rafaela that will come to Broadway in 2025. That's what Don't Bet Your Heart was always supposed to do. It was literally supposed to feel like a completely different musical. And I think that speaks to the power of Matt Gould's pen in writing that song, Raja's choreography. Just there's a freaking car on stage. The energy that the ensemble brings. It's just we have a good time. And I think that is what elevates that entrance. And it's like the party is starting now.
And you joined this show I think after the 2018 production.
I saw it at Williamstown
Right.
in July and we did a lab that Christmas, November, December.
So since it had already kind of like been on the wheels were on the track in a little bit of a way, did you feel like there were parameters that you already had for the character, or was there a lot of room to play with the development of her?
Honestly, I think is a blessing and what kind of the reputation that I've built for myself is when people bring me in the room, they want me, all of me, my ideas, my thoughts. They're not just asking me to stand on zero and do what someone else did. So I didn't even approach it like that. I approached it as if this was day one for Rafaela, period. Of course, every time we do the show, it's a new script anyway. So new songs, new things, new everything. So no, I didn't feel bound by anything or anyone. I, even though I had seen it, that production wasn't like in my mind of like I need. I was like I'm a new person. I'm coming to this new with fresh eyes, and I think that was appreciated and celebrated. So no, I feel like I have full freedom to bring me to the role.
Mm, yeah. And a lot of, I think, part of the relationship between Tamara and Rafaela is really a centerpiece of this story that a lot of it hinges on. What can you just kind of describe what it's like creating that relationship with Eden? Because it really jumps off the stage.
I've known Eden since I met her. She was one of the first people I met when I moved here in 2012. We used to sing in Broadway inspirational voices together, but this was our first time like we were working together, and it was just easy. That's all I have to say is it was so easy. We did a lot of just talking, not about the show, just like getting to know each other as people, as humans. I think that makes the job easier. Like we're actually friends, like we hang out. And so I think it was taking what was on the page, being in constant conversation with Rachel and Carson and Matt and Raja. What do we want this to feel like? What do we want this to look like? Where are they meeting each other in their lives? What does she need? What does Rafaela need? So it's just constant conversation, both about Lempicka and not us being two women getting to know each other in real life and then also on stage. It was so easy. It was just the the joy of having so many labs and workshops and getting to go to La Jolla. So we're constantly building and building. And also I believe nobody knows characters better than the actors because we're inside of it. You know, Carson's job as book writer, she has to keep track of 20 people, 25. We only have to keep track of one. I am just worried about Rafaela. Eden is just worried about Tamara. So it allows us to really ask for what we need because we just are always asking for the tools that we need to do our job. How can we tell the best story? How can we make this relationship I want the people to feel like, oh, they really like each other. Oh, there's really love there. There's really trauma. There's harm has been caused. Like, so it's just constantly assessing, asking for what we need, reassess, ask for what we need, back and forth, talking to each other. Does this make sense to you? Does it make sense to me? Constant communication. That's how we built, I think, such a fiery little romance.
Hmm. I think one of my favorite parts from your character is when she sings about that romance and stay, because it's so unbelievably vulnerable for this woman who has such a this persona that she wants to put out there, and suddenly she's asking, oh, is this what it feels like to be seen?
Mhm.
What does it feel like to go into that number and it's like everything kind of just slows down?
Well, the main reason I love that number is because it exists because I asked for it. After having worked on the show for maybe 4 or 5 years, I kept saying, why is Rafaela here? In the current draft, it was like, I'm here in service to Tamara, but why am I staying? If I am a sex worker, if I have people taking care of me, I don't need anyone to take care of me. What about this woman makes me stay here? And Carson was like, it's in this script. It's in there. I was like, I don't see it. I'll read it again, but I don't think I see it. I went back, read it, didn't see it. And then Carson, I was like, Carson, I'm just gonna ask you one more time. She said, okay. She went home, she read it. She was like, you're right. What I thought was there, I took out 4 drafts ago. So then I looked at Carson and Matt, and I was like, I need to know why I'm here. I can act it, sure, but I think it would help if everyone, the audience included, knows why I'm here. It helps me. And then Matt went home and wrote Stay. And it's what I was saying earlier, like, I just want the tools, the things that I need to tell the clearest story. And so to get through all the craziness of Act One and then have that moment of the acknowledgement of what this woman means to me, what she's brought to my life, how I'm looking at the world differently, how I'm moving at the world through the world differently because I've met Tamara, and then to just kind of sit and honestly kind of assess and then say, oh, I've been on my own, taking care of myself, and now here's someone who doesn't really want anything from me, just wants to love on me. Maybe I'll stay. It's wonderful. I enjoyed every night. Like it's a big thing, but I love that Rafaela gets that. And that's one of my favorite parts about this role is that there are not a lot of supporting characters that are drawn so vividly and clearly and get to show and display so many different colors. Like I get 3 songs by myself, solos. You know, we had a song Stillness that got cut a while back, but and used to have two duets. Like it's so much meat, which is rare for a lot of featured roles. So I'm so grateful that Carson and Matt listened to me and understood what I was asking for.
It makes me kind of think of what we previously mentioned of the muse. We really don't know anything about these figures like this. Did it make you kind of go back and re-examine like what would have been the life of these people? There's so many untold kind of
I
stories.
I mean, there's so much of that even now. You know what I'm saying? There's so many untold stories. There's so many parts of the puzzle that you're like, do we have we even scratched the surface? You know, it makes you want to. It makes me want to like go into documentary filmmaking. Like, let me just dig up all these people that do we really know them? Where did they come from? What happened? I want like an episode of Where Are They Now with Rafaela and so many people. It's just, it just makes, I get really interested and excited. But then I don't have like enough money to do that, but I want to.
Someday. Um, well, this award season, must be very busy for you because not only are you Tony nominated, your group that you co-founded, Black Women on Broadway, is giving out your own honors to some incredible artists. Why were those awards important for you to establish?
Well, the whole organization and the award ceremony was started out of jealousy. Essence has this amazing Black women in Hollywood brunch that's on its maybe 16th or 17th year at this point. And I kept looking around for when someone was going to do that for the women in theater and women of Broadway. And unfortunately, at large, women in theater are not celebrated until we transition into TV and film. And I think that's insane. Number one, that's not everyone's dream. And I don't think that should be the barometer of a woman's worth is like, do you translate to TV and film? Because then we'll celebrate you. We work harder than everyone. We make less money. Our hours are insane. To do 8 shows a week and be contracted for a year is you have one day off. When do you see your family? When do you rest? The hardest working women in the business deserve love and honor and respect and celebration. And so Danielle Brooks and Jocelyn Beal and I, all three of us are Tony nominees. We just realized that like 2 days ago. But the three of us came together and said, how do we celebrate our sisters now, where they are now, not where they'll be in 5 years? So there are so many hard work, like everyone deserves the award, first of all. I wish we could give out 500 awards, but we wanted to find a way to highlight women's work on stage, off stage, the legacy, the women who have paved the way for us, whose shoulders we stand on, the women who are just now beginning in their careers. So we kind of just took a minute to brainstorm what we wanted this event to look like. Also, because as women in theater, we only see each other when we're running from Telsey to Tara Rubin. We only see each other running down 8th Avenue trying to get to half hour. And I was like, what if we just have a day where nobody has to work? Everybody just is to be real cute, see all your friends, have a cocktail, take some photos. So it's not only is it awards, it's celebrations, it's rest, it's ease. We try to fill up the swag bags with as much rest and ease. Can we get tea? Can we get nail polish? Can we get lashes? Like we just want women to feel seen and heard and affirmed and loved. That's why it was so important for us to figure out how to celebrate these women.
Do you find that it's kind of seamless for you to be able to integrate, that kind of activism and community with your performance life? How do those two kind of pursuits feed each other?
Seamless is a good word. It's probably not the right word. I always say it requires me to use both sides of my brain. But it's like when I was in high school, I went to a double magnet program. So I was arts and sciences and math. And I say like the older I get, only doing theater, I feel like I'm getting a little dumb. So it really requires me like right before I logged on here, I was on the Excel spreadsheet filling in all the dates and times and numbers. So I get to like it's not seamless, it's work, but in the best way. Like Danielle and Jocelyn and I are not fundraisers. And the three of us, are the staff. We don't have a staff. So every year when we do these events, we are doing all the spreadsheets, all the fundraising, all the calls, all the emails. It's just us. And so while it is a challenge, it feels good. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy, It's not seamless, but it feels like it's rooted in purpose and community building. So I don't mind that it's my brain is dead.
Well, this is going to be your first Tony Awards experience as a nominee
Mm.
coming up very soon. What are you most looking forward to from that experience?
Honestly, seeing all of my friends look amazing. Like we talk about like the silver linings. This is so sad but wonderful. Like the fact that our show is closing, me and Eden have so many more hours to get ready so we can just look better than everyone. Because you know my first Honey was from Shuffle Along, and like having to do a show at 2 and be on a red carpet at 5 is, I don't know who came up with that schedule. It makes no sense. So like the luxury of being able to like go to the spa and have brunch and then get ready, I can't wait. Honestly, I'm also looking forward to just celebrating a season with so many of my friends. So many people who I love were nominated for doing excellent work this year. And I don't, people don't really understand, like, this is years and years of work. You know, Lempicka, 14 years in the making. To be able to celebrate, Jocelyn, Bo, and I used to ride the one train, the one bus. There's a bus that went up Broadway. She was coming from Coat Checks. I was coming from babysitting, and we would talk about one day we won't have to be checking coats and babysitting. And now we're going to the Tonys together in the same year as nominees. Like, I just can't wait to hug all of my friends and celebrate them, win, lose, or draw. Like, we did it. We did the thing, like Angela Bassett, and there's nothing greater.
Well, we will look forward to some great looks for you with the extra time to get ready and some much needed celebrating. Well, thank you, Amber, so much for sitting down with me. Everyone out there watching, make sure you stick with Gold Derby for the rest of this season. Amber, it's great to talk to you.
You too. Thank you.